Welcome to White Line Fever Kicks. My name is Steve Mascord. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm just trying to give this show a bit of a boot up the arse. There's a lot happening in rugby league at the moment, and I am still haven't finished my World Cup Nomad series, which is ridiculous. The World Cup, well, it's patently ridiculous. The World Cup was 6 months ago. So what I'm going to do is, this is a big catch-up episode. I'm going to play you some audio from the women's semi-finals at the World Cup, which I recorded in York. And then we're going to have a chat to a very special guest, an exclusive interview with Jack Welsby from St Helens and England, which I did about a week ago in Warrington before Jack was the only St Helens player in England's 64-0 win over Warrington in the Test match. Firstly, we're going to catch up with everything today, and hopefully we're going to get, put this show on an even keel. White Line Fever Kicks is my rugby league podcast, and I want to thank you for supporting it, for listening, and I want to thank very quickly. I'm not going to go through all the Patreon supporters of rugby league long reads because that'll take too long, but I do want to thank Vivek Nayak, who is a Patreon supporter of Rugby League Nines, and at White Line Fever, who get to hear this podcast first. It's patreon.com/White Line Fever. I want to thank Darcy Lussick and Richard York. And I'll just go for the first 10 supporters I see on Rugby League Long Reads, which is Wahan Watkins, Chris Nyland, Jason Tynan, Jonathan Whitfield, Wayne Haselden, Matt George, Christopher Stephen, Leonard Gregory, Michael Benson, and Peter Wood. Thanks to those guys. They are all guys, actually. All of the guys, all the people I mentioned are guys. So thanks very much for supporting us and all the things we're doing. And please, wherever you see this podcast, leave a comment, share, and I promise we're going to get this back on an even keel now. Now, to set the scene, when I was in Warrington last Wednesday, I had family things to take care of and personal stuff, so I went up there very early. I was looking for a haircut, and the first place I looked was empty. Or not empty, sorry. The vacancies were empty, i.e. the barbershop was full. And so I walked to the next one, walked in randomly. And also, the guy looked also busy, but he said, no, come in. And so I had to wait about 2 minutes, and he started cutting my hair. And he said, what are you doing here? And obviously in the north, if you've got an accent, it stands out more than if it does in South London. I forget I've got one until I go to the north. And so when I said I'm here for the rugby league, he goes, you involved in rugby league, blah, 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 blah. And then he said, I cut Jack Welsby's hair. And he said a few other things, which I won't repeat. I don't know if there's a code of ethics around barbers like there is with doctors, where you're not supposed to share patient information. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because later in the day, I actually saw Jack Welsby. And I actually sort of dropped it on him that I'd gone to his barber that day. So we're going to first go back to November and York and hear some audio that hasn't appeared in any previous episode of White Line Fever Kicks. And then we're going to have an exclusive interview with one of the best players in the world, Jack Welsby. Thanks again for joining us. So, yeah, to have the Wheelchair Rugby League on in pubs and lounge rooms across the country is a huge success for the tournament. And I think the Women's Rugby League, to a lesser extent, has been a huge success. It's had quite a lot of cut through. The two games tonight were France and Cook Islands and Australia and New Zealand. Both very competitive, actually. So that was good as well. But the men's, I would say, has it's had some good moments. But it hasn't had the same cut through. It obviously started from a much higher base than the other two, and it hasn't leapt further on, really. And I think maybe some of those crowds in the pool rounds and the fact there was not a single upset in the pool rounds, that was probably one of the main reasons for that. So, it's been good. It's been good. It's been a fantastic experience, and I think there's things to learn from it. And I think maybe one of them is that the tournament in France in 3 years probably won't be as ambitious as far as number of games and teams as they said it was going to be. So I've got a special guest here, Jack Welsby. Jack, big weekend this week against France, or is it? Because it's a little bit, I guess it's the middle of the season. It's a new fixture. It's a little bit low key. Do you agree or not? How does it feel to you?
No, I think it's a big game. For me personally, I think there's no higher achievement in the game than playing for your country, and it's another opportunity to go and do that. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. All the lads that are in camp now are really excited and can't wait to rip in. Obviously, we had a good couple of days training, and now we're looking forward to the game. It's
a good move to support the French, isn't it? Because they're your nearest rivals, and it's a long way to go if you want to play against other opposition. So it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. The more games we can get on like this with European outfits, it's better for the game, I think. Obviously the game needs to grow in Europe, and not just be England and France, and then the UK nations. It needs to be wider spread, and hopefully this puts a good step in the right direction and makes it like that.
It's funny because we recently had some conversation back in Oz about Joseph Sualihi and about rugby union and seeing the world and stuff like that. You've seen a fair bit of the world, haven't you, over the last 6 months? I mean, you went and won a World Club Championship in Australia. You played at some of the biggest stadiums in the UK. I mean, you can see the world playing rugby league, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. I was very fortunate to go out there with the Saints boys and get the win against Penrith, and it was probably up there with the best couple of weeks of my life, barring, like you said, the England World Cup tour, and seeing the country in that respect with two great groups of lads. And yeah, I'm just, like I said, I've really enjoyed it, and like I said, I'm looking forward to this week and trying to expand the game so we can go to different places.
Yeah, like do you think that that rugby league that is an attraction in rugby league, that you do get to travel and you do get to see places? I mean, it's not the international game's not as big as rugby union, but we're hoping it gets bigger, aren't we?
Yeah, that's the idea, isn't it? I think obviously, like you said, it's over in Australia and New Zealand, it's massive, and then you come to England, it's massive, but in and around that there's not much else difference. But I've seen plenty of the world playing rugby league. I'm very fortunate in what I do, and I won't change it for the world. I won't change the last however long I've been doing it, just to go and play a different sport. I love playing rugby league, and being from Wigan, I think everyone's pretty much the same.
Now, James Graham was telling me that you saw more of the world than you wanted on the way back, that it was a nightmare journey back. We haven't read much about it. Tell us what you all had to go through after the World Club Challenge.
Yeah, well, obviously I was pretty excited to have won, so we got stuck into a couple of beers, and then we had a flight at 6 a.m. the next morning. Got to the airport, been delayed, got to Thailand, 12-hour layover, got to Stockholm in Sweden.
There was a misbooking, wasn't there? There was a misconnect or something?
I was that tired by that point, I didn't know what had happened, but all I knew was that I was on a plane for far too long and I was in airports for far too long. So it was a long time, and then when we finally did get back to England, we was in London, which is 4 hours away from where I live, so it wasn't a lot of fun, but it didn't take away any of the shine of the win we just got, and the start of the season we had.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to drop this on you without warning. I got my hair cut here in Warrington today, and the guy who cut my hair is a guy called Josh, and he said he cut your hair.
Oh, right, okay.
And he wants to move to Melbourne, and I was wondering, is there any hope in future that he can continue to cut your hair when he moves to Australia?
The barber number one. Yeah. Josh is good. He used to work in the St Helens.
He's got very soft hands.
Yeah. No. I don't know. He can keep cutting my hair in Warrington for now on, for a good couple of years at least.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. Well, good luck on the weekend, and good luck against France.